Hello Americans and other friends and subscribers around the world. So today we're going to do a little, said I was going to go over the scrapping and recycling basically. Junking, just more mountain junkers, man. Just another way to make some money from the junk. And I'll tell you what, over the years, me and Miss Kitty were just saying it, you know, with all this stuff going on with the eBay thing, and it's been that way for ever. We've always been, man, I've always been a junker and a scrapper and recycling and stuff like that. And many times over the years when we have a hump in the thing and whatever to keep plowing that corn, man, we'll always fall back on the junk that I accumulate or whatever, whether it be selling stuff on Craigslist or recycling. So I'm just going to go over, we're going to focus more on the scrapping and recycling end of it now. We recycle, everything, our plastics, our glass, paper. We pretty much burn all the paper, but we recycle everything that's recyclable. We recycle. You just don't get paid for everything, but the main ones, you get into the, the copper, and you get into aluminum, and there's different grades of everything. And then the steel, now that the steel prices are going back up, once we get set up with that, I'll start clearing out a bunch of the stuff around here as far as that. But today we're going to focus mostly or completely on aluminum, stainless steel, and copper, being it's wire or whatever. I just pulled a little bit over here. I have a ton more to go through, but I'll show you. I thought we'd go over the tools. If you want to start scrapping and, become a scrapper and do it for a little extra income, man, it's a great way to make a few extra bucks. You can do basic tools. This is the stuff that I use regular that makes life a little bit easier. And if you got power, a lot of times we're doing what don't have power, but man, always having a cutoff wheel. And then I got a grinder too, so if I need to grind off a one side of a bolt or whatever, because like on aluminum, I'll show you here in a second, on aluminum or stainless or anything like that, if you have a bolt or a screw that's metal in your aluminum and stuff, they'll check it, man, and they will sell. That will be a different grade. You will get knocked down and lose money on one screw being in something they'll get you. So you got to watch that. But the other stuff, man, I got some different kinds of tin snips, for cutting aluminum and metal, for sheeting type of stuff. This one, I just love these. These are the ones I use for when I'm doing roofing and stuff. There's another one that's a little bit longer, tin snips. This is another kind of tin snips. These ones are up above, so you ain't got your hand down in there. Always wear gloves. I should have threw the gloves in the thing. You always want to use gloves. Wire strippers for the smaller gauge wire is great. These, and I have one and I can't find it. I picked it up, haven't even used it, but I have these. Are just amazing. That you set this thing for about what you want. Then you can take like a wire, like this, because I'm going to strip this down completely. We're going to strip this down, and then we're going to strip this down. And these, man, you can take this thing like this and go like that and see how fast that strips that. Man, makes life so much easier. And somewhere I picked one up at a sale. I'd never seen one, and basically it's the same thing as this, but it's a handheld one. And man, you can just run it up like this. And it's you remember seeing that one?
It's like a grip instead of
it's like a grip one. I'd never seen one. I have it somewhere, but I can't find it right now, so I've been using these for years. And but I'll strip this down, and what I do is I use a pair of bolt cutters. Go back over here to the, and then I got my other bigger bolt cutters, but I use bolt cutters, and I'll cut those because the sections don't matter, man. It's the weight, and it being clean copper wire. So just to make it more manageable, if you cut the cut them in smaller strips, it's a lot easier to get, because when you're stripping wire, if you've ever stripped wire, man, to do a long run, especially if you're using some strippers like this, man, it's a lot easier to just do a little sections at a time. So I got that, and then this actually comes, I wanted to find that other one that I just got. I wasn't scrapping at the time. I got two of the larger ones, and then this one's a smaller one for a smaller gauge wire. These are great, man, and if you're going to be scrapping a bunch of wire, you definitely want some of those. Bolt cutters, like I said, always have a wrench, and I got screwdrivers and everything is always at hand. And then pipe cutters to cut off any, if you're doing copper tubing or whatever, to cut off, or whatever you're cutting with a tube cutter, to cut off the metal ends. These are great. And the number one thing, if you're going to be a scrapper that you have to have, and man, I usually have 2 or 3 of them. I got another one right here, yeah. And I always have a magnet. All my kids have a magnet on them. My wife has a magnet on. We all carry magnets. These ones, I got this back from one of the recyclers a long time ago, and this one goes on your key ring. It's my favorite one. I have 2 or 3 of these. I should order these in and sell these things.
Yeah,
they're
cool.
for scrapping. These are great. And I'll show you what, you know, so you go around. So you got this cast aluminum right here. And see the screws right there? That right there, they would knock me down on the price. See, you know, and your magnet obviously will stick to the thing, but it won't stick to aluminum. Magnet won't stick to stainless steel, so then you look around here and you're like, well, man, I think that's aluminum. And then, you know, I can look at it and tell you right now without even testing it that it's stainless steel, it's not aluminum. But one way to check it, if you look down here close, is when you, and this is what this one's for, and you can use a screwdriver or anything you want, but when you scrape it like this, it's soft, you can feel it and see that. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but see how it piles at the end of the scratch?
You move your finger, maybe the sun will catch it.
It piles. When you scratch it, it piles. When you do stainless steel, and it makes that sound, it's a lot harder to do, and there's no piling whatsoever. That's how you tell the difference between aluminum and stainless. As you do it, I mean, but I still I'll come up with things. You know, I've been scrapping my whole life, man, and I still come up with things that'll throw me off. But like this old, which I wish this thing would have been in good condition, because this thing would probably be $100 if this thing was nice. But see, I'll just take my cutting wheel and I'll just cut these off. Make it a heck of a lot easier, and make sure the rivets are all gone, and I'll just cut this thing up to where it's just little sheets of aluminum. You know, license plates. That's cast aluminum. So man, that's one of your grades, and then we go to aluminum cans. And what I do, and I'll show you when I get it. It's not set up right now, but I've got all the stuff. As soon as I get these barrels empty, we're going to set up our recycling station with our plastics, our glass, everything, to where you can just walk out the door and everything goes in one thing. And then I got one of those crushers that I'm going to hang. My one thing that I'm pretty much anal about, the kids don't listen to me. My wife does sometimes, she ain't got her slippers on. That is, I smash all the cans, man. All these cans, this one's filled up, half smashed, not smashed, you know, all that. Then I will pour these out, and I'll stand out here and smash them. And sometimes we have stripping parties, which it ain't that kind of stripping party, but stripping wire parties and smashing can parties.
Crushing parties.
And the kids, the grandbabies, are great for that.
Yeah.
But when I smash that down, that'll turn this into about like this, and the amount of money you get, you know, for the aluminum and the smashed cans is, you can just fit them so many more, especially when you're hauling it in your van. And then the other thing, if you're in Oregon and some of the other states, you don't smash your cans, you want to keep them like this because there's 5 and 10 cent returns on them. You know, and that's when we were running Oregon back in the motorhome days, we'd haul bags of them, you know, and back then you took them into the grocery store. Now they have machines you stick them through, but that's worth 5 cents in Oregon. That's a little bit on that. Once I get going here, probably film a little bit, but that's, man, it's definitely an extra way. Like I said, this will help us, which we did sell a couple things so far this morning, but this will definitely help us get back in line, because 4th of July is Miss Kitty's and I's 28th wedding anniversary, man. I got to get this stuff taken care of so I can take my baby out. So
on the town.
Yeah, on the mountain.
Yeah.
So anyway, after I get rolling here, we'll check back in. All right, so just out here still scrapping, showing like this. These ones are pretty wore. They're not really, could be usable, but I have so much of this kind of stuff around here. I was going to show you how slick this was, but that didn't turn out very good.
Yeah, it's kind of pinching it.
Yeah, man, I just
there you go.
There we go.
Just bend it the other way.
But, so anyway, I'm still, obviously still going to scrap. I mean, I got to keep more, definitely, said, man, reminded me to not, I was getting a little too depending on one source of income, man, when you're self-employed, you gotta, especially on the homestead and stuff like that, you've got to keep everything rocking and rolling. Something else I didn't mention on the scrapping stuff, see, now like this, so I cut the tip off, pull out the copper, knock out the plastic piece, maybe.
A washer?
No, it's not, it's actually bushing.
Grommet type thing, bushing.
Knock out the bushing, so I'm going to do a screwdriver, knock out the bushing, but then you also have yellow brass. So copper goes in this one, brass goes in that one. And then I got, like I said, then we got stainless and aluminum. And then, like on this was a pair of old, they're smashed all heck, but, which these are the little things, man. I think I'm going to actually pull these off and keep. These are yellow brass, but this is a pair of jumper cables. And I love how they had the separators. What happened is, those ended up, I gave those to Kevin D, and they ended up in the flood way back when. So then they ended up under his trailer or something, and the ends ended up getting ran over and just destroyed. But other than that, they were there. See, just like that. Bam! So then that's yellow brass.
Now it is clean.
Yep, so it's clean yellow brass. Clean copper. And they're still working on the aluminum bit. So there, man, that's the basics on getting started and doing, or just going with it. And as we roll along, we'll show more of the scrapping and the recycling and how to make money doing it and all that. So good Lord willing and the creeks don't rise,
We'll be back again. We will see you again tomorrow.
I'll see you again tomorrow.
See you again tomorrow.